Ho 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 ho! Merry fucking Christmas Eve. Why is my game not capturing? Come on. There we go. Yes! Merry fucking Christmas. I had a fun day of Christmas activities with friends and well, just family, I suppose. And I'm ready. I think tonight is the night I finish episode 6. I'm not sure how long this stream is gonna be, but I'm gonna try to make sure episode 6 gets done tonight. Because I'm gonna be really fucking miffed if I go on a break after this for a couple days. Because of Christmas reasons. Like, probably till Boxing Day. Actually, Boxing Day's Friday. I might not stream until next, like, Sunday. Yeah, it might be a couple days between me streaming because of Christmas and shit. It's gonna be goofy, but it'll be fine. But I wanted to make sure I got some Umineko in today. We left off at a critical moment right before we started debating. There's some big logic battle coming. And I think it's about kind of getting Battler out of this like guest room he's been put in. And I have my own theory for how he's supposed to get out. But we'll see how it really kind of ends up playing out. And hopefully I'll have a really good idea as to who Beatrice is. Now, I like to imagine I'm correct and that Jessica is Beatrice. Oops. Maybe let's not drop them on the floor, actually. That would be actually super cool. But this is my very Umineko Christmas special. We're gonna throw some trash away. And we're gonna get started. I had some wine today. I haven't had wine like years. Not years, but like a year. It was actually quite good, surprisingly. But elsewise, I'm just gonna jump into it. Flanor watched, shrugged, and turned away. Wait there, Flanor. Respond to my blue truth. Oh, I forgot. She's trying to defend Battler, but like she's getting thrown out for some reason because she wasn't on the guest list. If you want the opinion of the Great Court of Heaven, please fill out an application in accordance with court procedures. Allow me to speak. Know that the ticket window is open from 10 to 5 on weekdays. Lunch breaks run from 12 to 1:15. What? An hour 15 lunch break? Allow me to speak. Note that the use of whiteout or strike-throughs is not permitted when filling out forms. There's a rumor that they refuse Comic Cat applications for the same thing, yeah? What's Comic Cat? Comic Cat. A semi-annual doujinshi convention in Tokyo. Self-published works. Okay. That's an urban legend. Probably.
Let us provisionally accept that blue truth verbally. It will be put on hold until the proper forms are received, and duplicate submissions are allowed.
I don't understand. Can you respond to my blue truth, or can't you?
If you fill out the application on Monday, we should be able to have an answer for you by the end of next month. However, it is Christmas. Keep that in mind. Duplicate submissions are forbidden, so the blue truth you just spoke will be unusable during this wedding ceremony. This is in accordance with the laws of evidence from the official Great Court Regulations, Article 214, Section 15, regarding the prevention of duplicate submissions.
Please, allow me to speak. Note that it is forbidden for Blue Truth to be used if based on the argument that the window sills of the next room over were torn at the time of the logic error. Why? That is forbidden for Blue Truth to be used if based on the argument. Why? Why is it in red?
Please, allow me to speak. Note that the opposing side is under no obligation to respond to the aforementioned Blue Truth.
Cowards! Hey, let me go, Rabbit Band. The Cheester sisters led Gap away. Just when she thought she'd reached the core, they had underhandedly refused to respond. However, this is a big clue. There's a chance that the window seals on the next room over have been broken. In other words, it might be possible for Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, or Nanjo to save Battler. And yet, just now, that move was sealed away. The use of any blue based on the window seals in the next room over might have been broken has been prevented. It's now impossible to claim that the 5 who could have saved Battler were the ones who did it. What the hell? That's low. That's the answer, isn't it? I also noticed that they hadn't proved that the window seals were still intact. But if they can't use the blue truth, what are they supposed to do? Use the gold truth? Yeah, I know. I'm sure you're laughing at me because... You alone have discovered the answer. My apologies, child of man. I'm having trouble just as you are. I can't believe I'm hearing you say that. I also realize that the windows of the next room over were left unavailable. However, I hadn't imagined that use of that argument would be prevented. Doesn't this seriously violate the rules? I mean, how can a quiz be fair if you can't say the right answer? Isn't this a logic error for the other side? We can also view the fact that the tale is continuing as proof that it wasn't a logic error. In other words, there's some other answer completely unrelated to the windows of the next room over. Or, it may be possible to explain without discussing the windows, how one of those 5 came to Battler's rescue. If they can't talk about the windows, they'll have to find a different way to leave that room. It practically makes the next room over a closed room. Yes, that is why I am also stuck. Because these strange seal proclamations, the 2 rooms have once again become closed rooms. Most likely what? If you're so vastly intelligent, what kind of answer have you found? There is no answer. No answer? What do you mean? There is no way out except for the windows of the next room over. And yet, we are not allowed to include those windows in our reasoning. There probably is no answer for this closed room. And if so, what next? Since no answer exists, then defeat is absolutely certain, whichever player is burdened with the responsibility of explaining. So we have no moves left. In other words, that statement of Glanor's was the final blow? Doesn't this make it checkmate? No, one move does exist. However, that move is one that can never be used again. And it is also a part of Beato's heart. You mean one of the greatest riddles of this tale? Precisely. By using that, or possibly feathering inside deeply, it was something that she hadn't done once before now. I see. So as long as this tale has been, it is finally time for the curtain to close. Exposing the answer to this riddle means the same as finally killing Beato. But perhaps Battler is the one qualified to make that decision. If he weaves such a tale as the Game Master, no one will be able to stop it now. The greatest riddle of this tale will probably be revealed very soon. A deep sound reverberated through the cathedral. It was the sound of the several dozen Chester Sisters Imperial Guards, members of the Honor Guard, who stood in a line across the cathedral and stamped their heels in unison. It brought about total silence even before the demons running the ceremony spoke.
Let us have silence. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the wedding of Lord Battler, Territory Lord and Golden Sorcerer, and Lady Erica, the Witch of Truth.
Zepar and Furfur had appeared in the center of the cathedral. Having them invited to host a wedding was a great honor. Though they had asked for silence, the attendants who packed the cathedral welcomed the two demons with an enormous applause. Oh, it's Zepar and Furfur. And what about Beato? She may already have snuck onto the grounds. They searched for Beato in the crowd of several hundred people, but they couldn't find her anywhere. I wonder if Beato if Beato managed to find a way to save Battler-kun. If she managed to gain Zepar and Furfur's power, then I'm sure she has. There exists no miracle that cannot be gained after receiving their strength. And if she didn't, then that goat biting its handkerchief over there is probably her. Good.
Then let us welcome the bride and groom. Please, give them a grand welcome and celebrate them as they start on their new life. Come out, bride and groom. Walk the path of the shackles called marriage, which will bind you until the grave.
The big doors in the back of the cathedral slowly opened. And then, the Territory Lord and his beautiful bride came into view. Beautiful? Yeah, beautifully fucking disgusting. Ew. Arm in arm, the pair slowly began to walk down the path to the grave lined with red carpet. The Chester Honor Guards stood at attention along either side of that path, raised their adorned bayonets with mechanical precision, and made sure that no evil could block the path that the pair walked down. Chester sisters that weren't part of the Honor Guard were stationed all over the cathedral, hiding behind pillars and the like, keeping an eye out for any intruders. Come on, Beato, we need you to save them. Save Battler.
No, 0, calling 45 and 410. Any irregularities?
Ceiling snipers, all clear, yeah. 410 and 45 were on top of a massive chandelier hanging from the cathedral ceiling. Several other sniper pairs could be seen stationed on top of other chandeliers. The seemingly festive cathedral was actually being heavily guarded in places the attendants wouldn't notice. Currently, we are simultaneously targeting 36 attendants suspected of being Lady Beatrice, as well as 131 in positions from which an attack might be launched. Surveillance in progress.
Don't let your guard down. Lady Beatrice will almost certainly stage an attack on this wedding.
That'd be so cool. Breaking in to steal the bride, yeah. 410, he's the groom, not the bride. But he's playing the bride's part, yeah. The Chester sniper teams on the chandeliers use super high efficiency observers to track the movements of several hundred attendants. If any one of those made any suspicious movements, the Chester sisters had been given permission to fire immediately. The one on the chandelier is Chester 127. That overkilling monster sniper could pulverize a human target from 2 kilometers away. The one on the chandelier across from that is Chester 20. Her firing rate is 6,000 shots per minute. However, she's using a portable magazine this time. So 2 seconds is all it'll take for her to use up her ammo. Lazy bum can barely do her job for 2 seconds. Yeah. Slowly, and making a show of it, the two walked down the red carpeted path. Battler's eyes were blank. If you looked closely, you could probably tell that Erica was dragging him by the arm she held. In other words, they weren't walking together. This was a ceremony for Erica to show off everyone that this man belonged to her. Behind the bride and groom walked the 7 Sisters of Purgatory, who held long, ceremonial arms in the shape of a one-winged eagle. Moron Battler. What's he lazing about for? This is why people called him incompetent. I understand Beatrice Sama's pain better than anyone else. It's all because that stupid Battler caused a logic error. Stupid, 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 stupid! Beatrice Sama will not fall to sloth and let this wedding go on. Of course, Beatrice Sama is greedy. She won't let someone else take away her favorite toy. She'll definitely show up. I hear the reception's gonna have tons of delicious food, though. I wouldn't wear a wedding dress now. Berncastle and Lambda Delta were in the nobles seating on the balcony. They were sipping some bizarre carbonated cocktails as they looked down upon the show. What a splendid wedding dress. I love stuff like this. This is just the opening performance. That's pretty cruel. What event do you think will be the headliner? Don't tell me you really think Beato will come. As you know well, Battler's closed room is perfect. How could Beato win, right? You must have heard too. There's a chance that the window seal in the room next door has been torn. It seems that Glanor has managed to seal that path off for now, but she just denied the concept instead of sealing the actual window. It'll fly out of the window again. This one-winged eagle thing. Wanna bet on whether Beato comes? I bet she comes with certainty. I bet she comes miraculously. This isn't gonna work. The Witch of Certainty and the Witch of Miracles were both sure that Beato would come. However, they were very interested in exactly how she would break the closed room and take Battler back. You've been watching from behind the scenes, so you probably know. You know what the trick is. More or less. But Erica's done a hell of a job. So now even I'm stumped. Liar. Oh, huh? What are you talking about? I'm sure you've found one already. Does exist a trick that can save Battler, right? Oh, sure. That does. But it's tough. And if that move is used, part of Beato's heart will be exposed. Isn't that right? Oh, so you already know. Hey, want to change our bet? To what? To whether Beato or Erica wins. Sure, if you're willing to bet on Erica. I'll do it. Oh, you are betting on Erica? Then why do you think you can win? If this trick is a part of Beato's heart, then Battler, the game master, will hesitate at exposing it. And so they cannot win. It will probably be a draw. I'm sure they'll sidestep the issue somehow and run away. Battler has sworn to let Beato rest in peace. Burn, you're being too naive. The bet was made, based on the assumption of that certain miracle that Beato would come. Virgilia, who was standing in the front row, tried to call out as soon as Battler walked by. She tried to tell him that the window seal in the next room over hadn't been checked, hoping that this would give him a hint. However, she had been marked perfectly. The instant she tried to lean forward, two Cheester sisters right behind her grabbed her arms. That powerful force told her that she wouldn't be able to move even a step forward. Trapped, she was forced to stand there and watch as Battler walked past. Battler-kun! Even now, he is fighting in that closed room all by himself. However, he cannot get out of this by his power alone. Unless someone comes to save him, he cannot get out. Unless that child comes to save him, Battler-kun will be trapped. If there is a key to that closed room, I am certain Milady will find it. Milady, I am sure you have gone through many trials. But please, this is one trial that you must overcome. I'm certain that you can do it. I, Ronove, do not doubt that in the slightest. The bride and groom's procession slowly advanced down the path to hit the grave and reach the altar. Though walking slowly was ceremoniously in proper etiquette, it was also reading's hard. It was also tiring. Erica glanced over at Battler. Of course, his eyes were blank. His heart was still inside that closed room. Once more, the sound of the Cheester sisters' honor guard stamping their heels rang out loudly. Silence returned to the cathedral again. Now, the wedding ceremony would finally begin.
People live for the sake of love. Therefore, today you have fulfilled the purpose of your lives. Oh, how great is the power to live, the power of love. I pray that the brightness of this day blesses these two for all time. Come now, you love one another, you who love one another. Make the oath of love. In the place of the husband who cannot speak, let the wife make the oath on behalf of the pair.
Battler swears to Erica, and Erica swears to Battler, to support each other, both in sickness and in health. I didn't catch that, Battler-san. If you have some objection, please say it a bit more clearly, in a loud voice. Damn it. If you have anything further to say, please get yourself out of that logic error closed room first. Don't worry. I'll support you until that day comes.
You have heard the pair's oath of love. Oh, let this oath be eternal.
Woo! Yay! 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 The thunderous applause celebrated their marriage of subordination. After the oath, they would symbolize the bond. It was the exchanging of the rings. The Territory Lord's ring with the one-winged eagle engraved on it that sat on Battler's finger would become Erica's. By this, she would become the ruler of this game board. and in exchange, Battler's finger would be given a diamond ring that Erica had prepared. At a glance, it looked like a ring adorned by a large diamond. However, this cursed ring would force Battler into eternal subservience and mark him as another's property.
Yes, let the pair exchange rings. Since the husband's fingers cannot move, let his wife support him.
Erica respectfully took Battler's right hand and slowly pulled off the Territory Lord's ring that had been on his ring finger. That was the ring Beato had entrusted him with. Erica stole it anyway. Stole it away. This is the ring that woman left behind, right? How does it feel to have that stolen away by a woman like me? What? I can't hear you. Please say it one more time. Go to hell. Oh, that. Well, then there's no need to worry, Battler son. Erica pressed her lips up against Battler's earlobe as if biting it, and told him where they were. We're already there. Then slowly, she took Beato's ring, which she had stolen from Battler, and slipped it onto her own left hand.
And now, bride, you may give the groom your ring. That's one hell of a ring. A shackle that'll hold him in place for all time.
Yeah, it's custom made. Even Battler's blank eyes could see the diamond ring Erica held. It was like Erica herself. On the outside, it shone beautifully and possessed an absolute hardness that would bend to no one's will. And on the inside, to symbolize never letting go of the prey it had latched onto, it had 8 sharp thorns pointing inwards. If they had been growing out of the outer side, it would have looked like the color of a guard dog from hell. However, ever heard on putting those on the outside? By twisting the diamond, those thorns could slide in or out. In other words, if you twisted it after thrusting the finger inside, the inward-facing thorns would bite down, never releasing until the end of time. Then even his soul would be trapped, and his body, mind, and soul would be forced to serve Erica for all eternity. Are you kidding me? Who the hell would wear a ring like that? He couldn't even finish speaking that simple phrase. And furthermore, those awkward words were the only way he could resist. She raised Battler's left hand and stroked his ring finger as if tasting it. Erica pressed the ring of subordination against the tip of his finger. If a ring is made to fit too tightly, it can be painful and hard to take it off. However, this ring was never intended to be removed for life anyway. So its inner band had been mercilessly narrowed, even without the thorns, forcing a small ring like this on would hurt. This ring will seal up your body, heart, and soul for all eternity, and you'll become an eternal living dog. I won't even let you know. You'll be endlessly defiled and humiliated by me. And every time I forget the taste of victory, I'll use your body to remind me. Over and over again. If you've got the guts to bite off your tongue, now's the time. Once this goes on your finger, you won't even be able to do that. Fuck! Battler didn't have the strength to bite his tongue. Even if he had, he didn't want to give up before finding a way to escape the closed room. So he couldn't kill himself. However, if he accepted the ring, he would never be able to even think about escaping from the room, much less commit suicide. Stop. It. No way. Look, I'm sticking your finger in. Ugh, hurts. It wasn't just the pain of having his finger forced through the tight ring. The curse of the ring fiercely tormented Battler's body from the inside. That pain would always torment Battler. But fortunately, the power of the ring even stole away the heart that could understand that pain. No! What the fuck, Beatrice? Come on, save him! Come on, Beato, you fucking got this! I'm rooting for you, Beato, please. Erica kept screwing that too small demon's ring on. It hurts. It's impossible. There's no way it'll fit. Don't worry. It will fit. No problem. With an obscene laugh, Erica let a silver thread drip from her mouth and soaked the finger and the ring. Ew, I hate her. I fucking hate her. I really hate her. She gives me even more ick. The amount of ick I've been receiving, like, I really don't like this. This is really upsetting, actually. This is actually triggering, dare I say. Please relax. We'll stick it in, all at once. Please don't resist uselessly. It'll hurt less if you don't resist, okay? This is really fucked up. You see? Now it's sliding right in. No. This is really fucked up. Slowly, Battler's finger went deeper through the ring. He was pushed through the iron ring of pain and humiliation, which would never be removed again. Come on, look, okay? It's all the way to the base. See? It hurts. It hurts. Take it off. The demon's ring tightened around the finger, so much that it seemed that the finger would snap off along with the bone. Could Battler's hazy expression of anguish really describe how unbearable this filthy pain was? Okay. Now that it's on all the way, let's add the final touch, shall we? After this, you will be mine. Erica touched the ring's diamond knob. If she twisted it, the thorns would bite in and never let go again. No, stop it. Sure. Just say, "Forgive me, Erica-sama," and I'll stop. Really? Please forgive me, Erica-sama. I swear to spend the rest of my life as your dog, with a collar around my neck, so at least spare me that ring. If you can say that, I won't make you wear the ring. Huh? I can't really hear you. I won't forgive you. I'll never forgive you. For making you suffer like this? No, I'll never forgive you. For defiling Beato's ring. Though Battler's eyes had supposedly been forced into a muddled condition, they appeared strong for just an instant. However, it really was only for an instant. Battler had used up the last of his fleeting resistance just to say those words. In his dim consciousness, he had even bitten his own tongue to stay alert, so that he could say those words of resistance until the very end. Of course, it seems you aren't the kind of dog that can be tamed. But it's better that way. Erica smiled. Then she turned the diamond. In that instant, Battler let out a voiceless scream and threw his head back. His howl had no voice and could be heard by no one. However, it still rang out through the cathedral. Umineko no naku koro ni chiru. Nocturne, truth and illusions. That was really fucked up. The subtext there was really disgusting. Like, maybe actually one of the most disturbing scenes in Umineko, actually. Disturbing. And, like, we've seen Maria get her ass whooped, and that was one of the most disturbing things I've ever read. A dreary breeze blew through the golden rose garden. Shannon and Cannon. Oh, I totally forgot about the fucking duel. This is a crazy end to this episode. Shannon and Cannon had already finished walking 19 steps, their backs still facing each other. When the demons conducting the trial gave the signal, they would both turn and settle this. Each had one of the dueling pistols given by the demons in their hands. The bullets promised certain death no matter where on the body they hit. This duel would not end until one of them died. Please, Cannon, I'm rooting for you, buddy. Come on, Cannon. Come on. You can't let George win. You can't. George winning would suck. Please. I'm begging you. Cannon, lock the fuck in. George and Jessica just quietly watched the ones they loved. They had already entrusted all of their thoughts to them, as well as their fates. Just watching over their partners was now the only way they could show their trust. Ellipses. Ellipses. Shannon and Cannon stood quietly, with their backs turned. They had already set aside the feelings they'd built up during all those days they'd known each other. The next time they laid eyes on the other, nothing would be asked of them except pulling that trigger. The only one who still couldn't muster any determination or resolve towards this duel was Beato. The closer that moment came, the less she understood. The love between George and Shannon wasn't standing in the way of the love between Jessica and Cannon, or vice versa. Why, when both sides could find happiness, were they being forced to kill each other? I don't understand. I just can't understand. Little sister, we are not permitted to do anything but watch. Zepar-san, Furfur-san, why this duel? This is no trial of love. You really are demons. You just want to enjoy watching one of the pairs fall apart, don't you?
Silence! You'll get in the way of the lovers.
You're the ones getting in the way. One will thaw. The one who loves that person will grieve. If only you two weren't around, no one would be sad.
That is not true. If we hadn't set up this duel, then both pairs would have fallen apart. This duel is necessary.
I haven't been able to accept that since the beginning. You say their love can't be successful without a miracle of magic. What does love need other than two people who love each other? This duel is meaningless. So stop it, you two. Shannon and Cannon both. Why must you fight each other to the death when you were the ones as close as true siblings? I just can't understand. Everyone should have been able to hear Beato's yell. However, no one's expression changed.
That's right. I'm impressed that you noticed. This is love's truth.
What is?
Normally, love needs nothing more than two people who love each other. Therefore, when there aren't two people, we must use a duel to make that number become two.
Are Shannon and Cannon not real, or is only one of them real or something? I could understand if it were a duel between two people fighting over one woman, but if it were a duel to cut three people in love down to two... But here we have two pairs of people! The world formed by each pair is complete, isn't it? There's nothing compelling them to fight.
The minimum number of people that can create a world is two. A world can only be born. Love can only be fulfilled when two people gather. That's why this duel is necessary. So that they can get up to that number of people.
Are you saying that furniture is subhuman, so they don't count as a single person?
Exactly. Furniture is subhuman. That's why furniture and a human cannot add up to two people.
That's insane. Status has nothing to do with it. If both of them love each other...
No, it does. Do you really think that the status of a pair of lovers doesn't matter? Is a man who has a wife allowed to love someone else? Is a woman who has a husband allowed to love someone else? Are you allowed to fall in love with your parents? Are you allowed to fall in love with your children? There are many situations where status makes love unallowable.
Well, yeah, but that's okay. Then just what is furniture? Why mustn't furniture fall in love?
Because their soul is less than a single person. Shannon, Cannon, and of course the piece that you are. All of you are furniture. Subhuman beings who possess less than a single person's soul. To be qualified to love a human, you need only one thing. The possession of a single person's soul. That's why a pair in love can create a world. For example, do you think a man with his wife has the right to love another woman?
Of course not. If he loved two women, neither would get a full person's worth of love. A man such as that would be unworthy of love.
See, there are plenty of statuses and humans who have no right to love a person. As long as both people feel love, nothing else matters. That's just the hypocrisy of naive love. We cannot forgive humans who falsely pretend that they have the right to love. We cannot forgive the love of some subhuman beings, of those who don't make up the minimum number of people required to create a world. That is the purpose of our tribe. It is to let the sinful souls regain a complete soul and become capable of true love.
Yeah, whatever. Zepar-sama. Furfur-sama. Our hearts are ready. Please give the signal to start the duel. The pair, bidding farewell, quietly asked for the signal to be given. Zephar nodded silently, then walked to a place that could be seen by the both of them. Furfur spoke in a voice quiet enough to avoid distracting the two duelists.
Watch.
Watch the duel to see which pair of lovers will fall apart?
No. This isn't a duel to see who falls apart. This is a duel to make true love succeed.
My theory is that Cannon dies here. Because as I've theorized before, that Jessica's love with Cannon isn't true love. It's more of a transaction to get what she wants in the short term. If not, then I'm fucking so wrong and it's embarrassing. I don't understand what you two are saying.
No, you must understand. This marks the birth of a human who can truly love another.
I don't understand.
No matter which wins, please support them. Right now, their days as furniture will end.
Also, that there's that reoccurring motif of Cannon sacrificing himself, and I feel like this is another time where it might happen. Like, he'll sacrifice himself so that Shannon and George's love can be pursued.
The signal is simple. I will count to 3. When I reach 3, the duel will commence.
Understood. Same here.
If both miss, the duel will be temporarily suspended. You will be given bullets again, and we'll start over from the beginning, with your backs to each other.
I hope they don't fucking miss. That's gonna piss me off. I guess it'll repeat until it's all settled. Zepar, have you seen this sort of duel many times in the past?
Of course. I've seen many of them.
Usually, how many times do they need to face off before it's over?
In almost all cases, it's decided in the first round.
They must all be really good shots. That's not it. If one side misses, the other can corner them at their leisure and shoot. If the first bullet misses, then you've lost your chances at victory. However, if you take too long, you'll lose before you can even pull the trigger. You need to fucking quick draw, Cannon. If you're going to lose anyway, you'd at least want to have pulled the trigger first.
Your resolve is good, you two. Then, let's go.
Oh my fucking god.
One, 2,
Beatrice.
3.
In the Golden Rose Garden, oh my fucking god, this is so hype. When the number 3 was yelled, the sound of gunfire rang out once. Even the people watching couldn't tell whether that was a single gun firing or the sound of both going off at the same time. What? What does that mean? George Cannon won? What the fuck? God damn! Holy shit! This isn't what I thought would happen. Wow, what does this mean? I thought Cannon was gonna die. In the midst of the stench of gunpowder and white smoke, there, with gun raised and smoke trailing the barrel, was Cannon. And lying on the earth was Shannon. Shannon. Well, at least she doesn't have to be groomed by George anymore. No. Shannon fell before the gun fired. Jessica's distressed expression was enough to explain what had happened. What? Whoa! Did they fake me out for a second? Slowly, Shannon stood up. There was no bullet wound anywhere on her body. At the time of the signal, Shannon had thrown herself to the ground, dodging the bullet. Damn! It had been a bet. If Cannon had turned around and taken the time to aim carefully before shooting, then he would have shot her as she lay there. However, if Cannon shot as soon as he turned around, she would be able to dodge it. And she didn't fucking dodge. Or he didn't aim, he just turned around and shot. Cannon had also made a bet. He did not underestimate Shannon's skill with a firearm. He was fully aware that if he assumed Shannon would be timid enough to let him shoot first, he would lose before even pulling the trigger. Oh, I'm right. I think I was right about Cannon. Yeah, okay. He had predicted that when he shot, Shannon would reflexively pull the trigger too. Since he intended to shoot right away, he would be more mentally prepared. So he was confident that he'd be able to shoot accurately. If Cannon had cautiously turned around and Shannon had shot instantly with the strength of her will, then Cannon wouldn't even have been able to pull the trigger. So no impatience on Cannon's part was to blame here. So the two had simply given it their all, left their fates to the heavens, and reached the end result. Did I read that right? And reached this result. Nope, I did not. That is so fucking crazy. They faked me out for a second? I can't believe it. That is so freaking cheesy of them. I didn't imagine my quick-tempered Nason wouldn't shoot at all. I'm surprised too, to think that old, prudent Cannon-kun would shoot as soon as he turned. As Shannon quietly pointed the barrel at him, she slowly walked forward. No! Cannon! I feel like this is like a final death. I'm kind of worried. I feel like this is like death. She planned on cautiously closing the gap until she reached a distance from which she could hit it with even more certain accuracy. And Cannon had already lost any means of fighting back. He could only try to dodge Shannon's bullet and place his bet on the second round. If they both fought this, then what happened next would turn that assumption on its head. This isn't over yet. Cannon dashed forward like a tornado, bent over so low that he was almost crawling over his shadow. Look, this duel could only be settled by a bullet, but he wasn't the only one who had a bullet. If he could steal Shannon's gun away from her, that's cheating. He could turn this fight around, and if Shannon calmly shot through Cannon, it would end. The odds that Shannon would miss, or that he could get close enough to her before she fired, Cannon would bet all the chips he had on them. Shannon could draw Cannon in until the last second, then shoot him from a closer distance. If she pulled the trigger just before he reached her, then even if she missed, they would just start again from the beginning. Shannon kept her gun pointing at Cannon's forehead as she compared these options until why did you just shoot the center of mass? What do you mean? Shoot him in the stomach. He's so skinny, you're not gonna hit his fucking head, Shannon. Jesus Christ. You're not fucking Lee Harvey Oswald, Shannon. I'm sorry, girly pop. She led her shot, calculating the distance he had already moved and the time it would take to pull the trigger. Goddess of Fortune smiles impartially.
Ooh, whoa,
No! Surviving past the final moments, Shannon could have shot. Cannon barreled into her chest. He then swung his hand up and knocked the gun Shannon held into the air. That strike. Oh my god. This is not a fucking... I don't think this is going by duel rules here. That strike sent Shannon's gun flying into the sky. I can't believe this is a fucking battle. I thought this would be over fast. At the same time, Cannon's gun also flew from his hand and danced through the air. Oh, I have to make sure they grab the right one. The two guns danced a rondo through the sky, reached their peak, and began to fall. By that time, neither knew whose gun was which. The two guns were exactly the same. This is such a duality thing, too. Oh my god. Everything about them was identical. There was no... However, there was one difference. Gunpowder on the barrel? Only one of them had a bullet inside. Nope. The pair raised their hands to the sky, trying to grasp their faith, their miracle. It was as though they were trying to grasp the wings of a descending angel of miracles. The pair looked up at the brilliant sky and entrusted everything to the Goddess of Fortune. Then, they each grabbed one of the guns out of the air, and after dancing a momentary rondo, their arms crossed each other. Even that had been like a dance. Then they each pressed the barrel of their gun up against the other's forehead, both steady as a rock. Even they could not know which gun held the bullet. Why not? When they both pressed the triggers, one would die and one would remain alive. The match would end. George and Jessica wouldn't know the result until that moment came. However, was it really impossible for the two holding the guns to know? The muzzle of Cannon's gun, which had already been fired, must have been warm. And the muzzle of the other gun, which Shannon hadn't fired, should have been ice cold. So perhaps the pair of them did realize which gun was which. And yet, both expressions were solemn. The faces of those who would believe in their fate unswervingly until the moments the trigger were pulled. Ellipses, ellipses. Don't be sad. We'll meet again soon, in the Golden Land. We should have done this much sooner. If only we had, our reunion could have been avoided entirely. It's alright. Considering what day this is, even this is just a farce. You're right. If we're just going to revive in the Golden Land anyway, it really is just a farce. Then I'll see you later. Yeah. So long. Oh, I think Cannon's gonna die. No! What the fuck? Wait, I'm right! Let's fucking go! Pier prediction accurate. Cannon-kun!
Hey, what's going on? Hang in there.
Suddenly, Cannon fell to the floor as if he'd had an attack of anemia. I'm so fucking convinced Jessica's Beatrice. I'm so fucking convinced. I'm so hyper-fixated on that shit. I know for a fact I'm fucking right. I don't actually know for a fact, but I want to believe it. And with love, it can be seen. What the fuck? Alright, Mr. Anemia. It had rushed It had happened without any warning beforehand, so everyone rushed up to him in alarm. What they saw surprised them. There was a single strand of blood across his forehead, making it look as though it had cracked open. Huh? How? What happened? What's going on? Trying to get a look at the wound, Goda wiped Cannon's forehead with a handkerchief. This is where you break the seal. This is where you break the seal, Goda, to get Dr. Nanjo from the other room. And that's how Battler gets out, right? Because Erica's not there to see it. And we know Battler's technically actually in this fucking room, based off the red truth given to us. However, his forehead was perfectly smooth, without any trace of a wound. And yet, blood was pouring out, almost as though it was seeping through his skin.
What are you doing? Stop the bleeding already.
But even though there's no wound, the blood won't stop coming. Hang in there, Cannon-kun! Cannon-kun! Yoshia-kun! Cannon's forehead was pale, and though his eyes were open, they had lost the light of the living. Oh my fucking god, this is so good. I feel so fucking happy that I predicted who would win the duel. Just like a puppet whose strings have been cut. Oh my god, that line is so fucking in with my theory that Jessica's been manipulating Cannon. I'm so fucking happy. He had passed away. Yoshia-kun! Yoshia-kun! Ooh-ah! Ooh-ah! What the fuck? So long! Sayonara, Cannon-kun! The hedgehog. And thank you. Jessica dashed up to Cannon's corpse, held it, and pressed her forehead against his. And as the still hot blood was smeared over his forehead, her forehead as well, she sobbed. Shannon. George-san, we've won. Now, I finally have the right to love you. Finally. Shannon leaned against George's chest, as though the strings holding her up had been cut. George held her in silence. Yoshia-kun! Yoshia-kun! Wah! Wah! There was nothing in the golden rose garden except the wind that carried the golden flower petals, and the sound of Jessica's grieving sobs. That is so fucked up. This has been a fucking heartbreaking episode 6, by the by. Is your trial for us finished now?
It is. Congratulations! You two were the ones who remained. We will give you our blessing. But please, don't forget, you are now responsible for nurturing your love. Please, take good care of the seed of love that this miracle has sown, created.
Of course. I swear it to her and you too.
And now, let Shannon have the miracle of magic. Now, your soul will become human. You will become a single person. Gather, incomplete souls, become one and know love.
When Zepar and Furfur faced the heavens and yelled, the miracle of love gathered the souls around Shannon. Those of you watching from the beginning and who saw me questioning the nature of the Fukuin house all the way in episode 1, I knew this shit was fucked up. Even back then, I knew this shit wasn't fucking right. They came from the losers of the trial. From Cannon, who had been defeated, and from Beato, who had dropped out. Slowly, the bodies of the two began to break down into flecks of gold dust. Why is my accent fucking terrible today? Sorry, folks. What's going on here? No one has ever said that the losers would disappear. As she yelled, Beato the Elder supported the body of her fading little sister. However, the two demons were smiling quietly.
Cannon has disappeared because he died. Beato was born to love Battler and is disappearing because she has lost the qualifications to do that. It is quite fair. If you had survived, the other two would have vanished.
Hang in there, little sister. Hang in there. Weren't you going to solve Battler's closed room and save him? What are you doing, getting finished off in a place like this? You call yourself a part of our complete form? No, please, not again. Why was I born? The purpose of loving Battler's. Why do I love Battler's? The truth is, I don't know why I started to love him. What? Why are you saying this now? Oh, she's even... Okay. After all, when I was born, I was told to love Battler's and be loved by him. That was my purpose. So, I don't really know why I love him. People don't need a reason to love each other. Don't disappear. If you disappear, who will save Battler? Little sister Beato. Beatrice! No! 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 Stop it! Why is this game breaking my fucking heart? Why is it that I love Battler's son? Mother? Oh my fucking god, this is not fucking 6 years ago. No, 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 stop. I can't handle this. This is fucking me up. Please, game. Well, I'm actually not a big fan of the family-oriented type of girl. You see how crude I am, right? I just can't handle acting politely in front of girls, ladies first, and all that stuff. So, I had to say what type I like. Well, I'd probably like a Jessica-ish girl. I'm fucking so right! Jessica is fucking Beatrice. I'm fucking correct. Pier is 100 bazillion% correct. I'm fucking on it right now. God damn. If I'm crude, why shouldn't she be too? It'd be just perfect to have a rough, relaxed relationship where we could mess around without worrying about gender and be rude with no worries. So if I ever get a girlfriend, I hope it's someone I can joke around with all the time. Huh? What would she look like? Can't say I'd care much either way. Well, if she did happen to be a glamorous woman, blonde and bouncy, with blue eyes like in Western films. That'd be awesome. I'd love to... Battler, shut the fuck up! Beatrice, listen. I'm giving you my love, Rushir Mia Battler. Be the kind of woman Battler wants. Take the golden hair he likes. Take the blue eyes he likes. Take this personality that matches his, and then you must love him in my place. I'm so fucking right. I'm so fucking correct. I'm vindicated, I think the word is. Let me double check. I'm kind of stupid, so I have to double check this shit sometimes. Yes, I am correct. And then, if possible, you must be loved by him. I can no longer love him. Please take my feelings that went unfulfilled, my feelings that I couldn't hold back, and make my wish come true. From this day forward, you are no longer the Rokenjima ghost that lives only to play pranks. From this day forward, you will become the master of this island, and wait for the day that he comes to fulfill his promise. From this day forward, he will do this in my place. So from this day forward, you will no longer be me. Please forgive me for pushing all of my worries onto you, while I alone try to find happiness. From this day forward, you have the right to hate everything. From this day forward, you are the Golden Witch, Beatrice. I had to wait for the music to end there. I thought it was fitting. And one day, you will destroy everything, revive everything. You will bring blessings to all lovers. When that happens, I pray that you and I will both succeed in finding happiness. From this day forward, you will no longer be me. From this day forward, I will no longer be you. The two of us will split apart, a single soul, and share it. And though, of course, neither of us will possess a complete soul, I'm sure our dreams will be more numerous than those of humans. Let us be blessed, my dear Beatrice. No one will be able to see your form. However, I alone can see you. And if you are loved by many people, I'm sure that everyone will be able to see you someday. With love, they will be able to see us. And yeah, it's fucking Jessica! I'm fucking telling you! I'm fucking correct! I have to be fucking right. Rib Theory was so fucking on this shit right now. If I solved this shit back in episode 5 and I didn't even fucking know it, I'm gonna be so goddamn happy. I am abso-fucking-lutely onto something. Yoshia-kun. Are we dreaming?
Insane. What kind of joke is this? Well...
Get Dr. Nanjo! Call Dr. Nanjo here!
Goda?
That is enough. Genji, who had been calm and silent through the whole thing, finally spoke. And his were the most reasonable words spoken. If they called Nanjo here, then what? Not only was there no arm to take the pulse of... Is canon not fucking real? I'm so fucking correct. Not only was there no arm to take the pulse of, there wasn't even a forehead to feel the heat of. Like leftover snow on a spring day, Canon's form had been, by now, not even a trace remained. His form had sparkled with a spray of gold, vanishing completely. Where? Where did he go? Where's Yoshia-kun? Yoshia-kun! Yoshia-kun! I'm so fucking vindicated. World's most accurate Beatrice guesser. So long, milady. No, Jessica. Canon-san. By now, no one's eyes can see us. That means that we're no longer in their world. However, we are right here. You're right. We are here. For us, a body is nothing more than a cage made of flesh. There's no need to be sad. But I do feel sad for her. For Jessica-san. This is all my sin. This is why furniture isn't supposed to love. What will you do now? Though I have lost my form, though I can no longer talk to her, and even though if Jessica ever talks to me, I can do nothing except nod behind her back. I will be by her side. I think that's wonderful. What will you do? I want to save Battler-san from a closed room. A closed room? After looking a bit taken aback, Cannon laughed gently. This has been so fucking good. This has been some of my fucking absolute favorite Umineko in a long time. What the fuck? Okay, thank you, YouTube Shorts, while I just do my quick check-in. Make sure I take my meds, have my meds. Blah, blah, blah. Make sure I have it on my app that I've taken my meds. Because elsewise, I won't be 100% sure. I had lunch and I had dinner too. Beato, who hadn't expected to be laughed at, looked a little sour. Why are you laughing? This is very important to me. But it's a closed room. That's something for humans with bodies to worry about, right? Huh? We've already been released from our cage of flesh. How could a closed room hinder us? Are you sure about that? I mean, there's a chain lock and packing tape seals and bread truth. I see. So you aren't a being from the world of pieces, but a higher level. That means your limitations are different from ours, or so I hear. Well, Cannon stretched. It looked as though he was about to head out somewhere. Cannon-san, seeing as you're a fellow loser, okay, I'll go for you. I'll go to the guest room in the mansion, let Battler-sama out, set the chain behind me, and hide in the closet in his place. Is that enough? I'm glad for the sentiment. However, even if you wanted to leave the cousin room because of Erika-san's seals, unlike the next room over, the cousin room containing Cannon was a guaranteed complete closed room, even counting the windows. Not only did he have no way to save Battler, he couldn't even escape himself. In that case, use your magic to give me power. My magic? Yeah. Use your magic on me. Wait, I don't even know how. Aren't you Beatrice, the Golden Witch? I am a witch, but I don't even know about closed room tricks, much less about magic. Okay, listen up, Beatrice. I'll tell you this once. This is what a witch is. What a witch is? A witch is not the one who solves puzzles. Not the one who solves puzzles? Yeah, that's right. If you're a witch, why are you clutching at your head because of someone else's puzzles? It's not a witch's job, right? Then what is a witch's job? The Golden Witch I know would have used an insane magic to create a puzzle that no one could understand, confusing everyone and sneering. Create a horrible riddle that no one could get, spin everyone around and badmouth them. You aren't supposed to clutch at your head, worrying about your opponent's puzzles. That's your opponent's job. Worrying is my opponent's job? Don't worry about how Ushiramiya Battler got out of the closed room. A chain lock closed room? Trivial. You need to create a much more spectacular ultimate closed room. Make it so that they're the ones worrying. I'll even lend a hand. I'm not the one who worries. It's for them to do. It's about time they learned the true error of the terror of the Golden Witch, Beatrice. The one who can create endless closed room tricks of the most horrific kind. Tricks that can make even the demons of hell prostrate themselves in shock. A closed room even more horrific than Battler songs? We've already gotten our hands on one, haven't we? A horrific closed room? Ah. In the back of Beato's mind, images she remembered began to flit by one after another. This is so fucking good. This is my favorite Umineko ever. The mansion, the guest house, the rose garden. Trick, mistake, lure, taunt, trap, laugh together. You know about this trick? I think I've seen it somewhere in something like it in a book before. Beato's eyes opened wider and wider. Countless lights circled around her, swallowing them up. And one more thing. Fucking canon this Columbo theory. God damn, okay. This is so fucking good.
And one more thing.
What? That's no way for the Witch of Closed Rooms to talk. So after all, I must be me. Fuck yeah, canon! Sacrifice yourself to prove all my theories are correct for the past 2 episodes. I guess 1 episode. Damn. The marriage ceremony ended without any problems, and the reception was held inside the cathedral. As the goat demons partied raucously, Blanor could be seen leaning against a pillar, trying to escape from the noise. Please, allow me to speak. And Gertrude appeared and whispered some kind of report to her.
Is that true?
Aide Cornelia is currently heading towards the sea. I suggest that Lady Erica be contacted as well.
Understood. I will tell her. Gertrude, contact the head of ceremony security. Prepare for battle.
As you wish.
I apologize for interrupting your chat. I'm in charge of security for this ceremony.
Huh? Is it me? Do you want something? Told you were going too far. Champagne Tower Bowling was always a bad idea. Looks like it's time for a scolding. Hey, Ben! Hey, what's going on? Did I do something wrong? The reception desk has received an envelope from an unknown sender addressed to Lady Lambda Delta. I always ignore anonymous calls and letters. That's how people on the internet scam you. But I wouldn't know anything about that. It's 1986. Just throw it away. But please look at this. What's that? Did you tell anyone you received this? What's in the top left and right? What's going on here? Well, you can't see it because my little Pier guy is blocking it. But there's another one here. What does this mean?
No, only the 2 sisters at the reception desk and I know.
God damn it, okay.
They have already been ordered to keep silent.
The instant she saw that envelope, Lambda Delta snatched it away and lowered her voice. Berncastle had walked away and was apparently making fun of Erica. Baron and, of course, Erica were both drunk. If they were left alone, they'd probably forget about this. It's true that this envelope has no sender written on it. However, the seal done on it in gold leaf fulfills the same purpose. This seal is... Lambda Delta hid behind a pillar, ripped the envelope open, took out its contents and read them. Her eyes instantly started to glint, and she smiled like a kid who's just thought of a nasty trick. Oh, that's fucking funny.
What is to be done? The sniper team is carrying red warheads. If you give your permission, I will give the order to load them.
What are you talking about? Do you realize how important these guests are? A stray bullet hits one of these attendants. All the new Chista sisters will be sent straight from the factory to the guillotine for the next 10 years.
Understood. We will intercept with regular warheads. Shall we post watches around the Seven Sisters of Purgatory?
Oh, why would we need those? After all, the 7 stakes are battles and now Erica's furniture. Why would we post watches around our allies? Is Lambda helping them? I think she is. Just make sure security's nice and tight.
Just now, we received a recommendation from Assistant Inquisitor Gertrude, suggesting that we make preparations for battle. Her reasons are unknown.
From Gertrude? Then follow that recommendation. A party's more fun once you liven things up.
Understood. 00 calling Cheester 17, Cheester 38, Cheester 35, code R. Be on your guards. Transmitting level 2 alert.
17 copy, 38 copy. Oh wait, I have to make sure I know which Cheesters are which. Wait, are the Cheesters not on here yet? They're not. Why aren't they? That's strange. Why aren't the Cheester sisters on the tips for this episode? Or the characters list for this episode? 45, understood. It'd be much cooler if you said copy too, yeah. I just got nervous. Ah, right, yeah. 45, come over here for a second. What is it? We're on the job. Stop, don't play with my ears. Your ears better fold them down, yeah. What did you say? You're kidding, right? That's impossible.
Cornelia is heading there now. The odds of Beatrice attacking here are extremely high. I recommend suspending the reception and evacuating.
What's going on, Erica? Something go wrong with the entertainment? No, my master. Please continue to enjoy the reception. Hey, somebody, let's get Lady Berncastle some more dried plum wine. Erica didn't have time to hide her agitation. When Berncastle saw this, she knew that their final, late guest had finally arrived. Oh. Lucy Nay, I hear that there's been some movement in the guest house. Guest house? There is no accent mishaps in my stream. Alright, I'll be right back. Give me like a couple minutes. Boom. And boom. God damn, this has been some fucking good Umineko. The guest house? Who cares about the game board now? Wait, I am unmuted. Okay, good. Well, I love when they do this fucking Marilyn Monroe-ass fucking pose. They're saying that Canon-kun disappeared from the cousin room. What? Are you a moron? The cousin room is a perfectly closed room. It's a perfect closed room, with the door and the windows perfectly sealed. It's impossible for him to escape. No, I've been snooping about as well. There's no mistake. Canon has disappeared from the cousin room. He's probably hiding somewhere in the cousin room. Or else he's managed to trick everyone since the beginning and was never in that room to begin with. That's impossible. It's been guaranteed that everyone is in the back of the cousin room except for the specific names Lady Erica read aloud back then. It's impossible for him to trick his way out of there. Unless Canon was never real in the first place. How did he get past the Yongtao seal barrier? No, first off, where on earth is Canon? Find him at once. At that moment, the cathedral suddenly went black. Oh my god. The surprised commotion of the guests filled the cathedral. She's here, bitches! 00, calling all Cheesters. Code R alert. Cheester 17, can you repair the electrical systems? Negative. Communications with the management staff have been severed. All Cheesters, code red. Rock and roll. Copy. 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 Understood. I mean, copy. The sniper teams and the chandeliers all relieved their safeties at once. The entire security team down in the hall loaded their ammunition.
Lady Erica, let us evacuate the waiting. It is dangerous here.
What's dangerous? I'm the territory lord of this world. Why should I have to run away in fear?
Gertrude, set up a VIP guard barrier. Call Cornelia back here at once.
Yes. Executing? A barrier? You need to be wrapped in one of your pitiful, pathetic barriers while I'm wearing a wedding dress? How insulting. This disturbance made even Battler groan, as he sat in the next seat over like a doll. Even with his soul sealed, Battler probably realized that something strange was going on. She's late. Right, Lambda? Totally. She sure kept us waiting. What was that just now? A love letter from someone? Oh yeah, totally a fan letter. From the Lambda Chan fan club. I'm the head of the Lambda fan club. It's me. Lambda Delta played dumb and munched some popcorn. Then the lights finally turned on. It was clear that during that blackout, Beatrice had snuck in somewhere nearby, possibly even inside the cathedral itself. The whispering demon attendants all realized it as well. Whose scheme was this? And what were they doing? Though it may have been imprudent, they were looking forward to this, and an excited chatter filled the cathedral. Looks like she came. Gap! They let you come back too? Come on, putting me in a jail is pointless. True. But Riche, Battler's closed room, the cousin room, and even the final possibility, the next room over, have all been sealed. How are you planning to save Battler? Let us suppose that Milady's found some trick eggs. If so, she would inevitably have to march in here to thrust that in Lady Erica's face. But Against all of these Cheester troops? I can't believe this many of them were hiding here. It's impossible. We'll be sown to death. Rabbit Ears dashed all about the hall. Incredible that she could remain hidden and unnoticed with so many people around. This is so good for Beatrice Battler. Many Beatrice Battler fans are in big favor of this. This is good slop. If she can just get close enough to challenge Erica, she should be able to get herself an even fight. I see that. However, does Milady have that item with her? She always complains and dislikes it when I prepare them for her. My, she's a troublesome one to the end. Amid the crowd, Ronave took something out and showed it. When Virgilia saw, she understood what that in his hand meant. True, with that, it should be possible to stop the attacks from the Cheester troops. What is it? Well, if it doesn't work on Erica, we're through. The problem is getting her right in front of Erica, if only for a second. The Cheesters will probably prevent that with all they have. This is so fucking good. I was just muted for a second, my bad. Virgilia gave a small nod. However, the problem was the two Cheester troops standing at her back. Since the time she tried to jump out in front of the procession, she had been marked constantly. I had to mute while I clicked my beer open. It was possible, with Virgilia's vast magical power, to momentarily take out all the Cheester troops in the cathedral. That would only gain a short bit of time, but it would be enough to confront Erica. The Cheester troops knew this, so they kept a close eye on Virgilia with tense faces. At that moment, the great cathedral door was blasted to bits. Fuck yeah! Please give me some art of this. No! The fragments became bright gold butterflies, which danced across the room in a beautiful blizzard of gold leaf. That golden storm slowly faded away. Then, at the entrance to that red-carpeted path to the grave, a calm, majestic figure was.
Guards, shoot to kill. Negative. Conducting identity comparison.
Lenore ordered the guards to shoot the intruder right away, but Cheester 00 didn't respond. Was it because she had been warned about shooting the guests? And was afraid of the consequences of possibly shooting a drunk guest pulling some sort of prank? No. 00 was just coolly and calmly carrying out her duties. Ooh, we do get a little art. This is so fucking cool. Oh, what a surprise. And I thought you weren't going to make it. The pair faced each other from either end of the long red carpet. However, in between them stood several dozen Cheester honor guards. It took you quite some time to come here, most honored guest. You had us all quite worried. But I am glad you managed to make it to the reception at least. Oh, she's smiling. Beato laughed. That chuckle made Battler's eyes quiver slightly. You. Oh, she's got her pipe back too. She's so back. She's so back. She's so fucking back. Let's fucking go! Did I keep you waiting, Furuto Erica? I'm here to celebrate. She had an overpowering and evil presence about her, strong enough to make anyone shiver. Was there really any need to confirm her identity now? Who else could possess such an overwhelming presence? Beatrice! Let us meet again in hell is a favorite parting line of mine, but... Identity confirmed. It is the great Lady Beatrice. This time, it really did happen. Furudo Erika! At that moment, the two Cheester troops standing behind Virgilia slumped over and fell to the floor. Ronove had touched the bases of their big ears from behind. It was clear that he had applied some sort of magic. Fuck yeah, Ronove! Fucking kick-ass, Ronove! This is so fucking good. I'm pogging the fuck out. Magic is real. Magic is fucking real. Someone find a doctor. These girls appear to be ill. All Cheesters, open fire! Beato, now! Just an instant before the Cheester troops could fire, Virgilia raised her arms to the heavens. Fuck yeah! Her magical power, which was more than enough to remind all present what her name had meant at the height of her strength, became a spirit wave that exploded throughout the cathedral. Its shockwave made the stained glass windows shatter and colorful glass shards poured down everywhere. Spirit particle warfare defenses! Hurry on reboot! However, all of the Cheester honor guards who didn't have spirit particle defenses toppled over like dolls. The ceiling snipers were defended and able to avoid a crash, but it would take several minutes before the system could be rebooted. That span of time should be enough to reach Erika. However, it wouldn't be possible to defeat Erika in just a few minutes. There was no way they'd be able to carry Battler away in that time. What else could they use this precious time for? They had to find a way to help Battler break the fucking closed room. Beato dashed down the red carpeted path. She ran down the path to the grave, which was lined by Cheester troops lying there like corpses. She had called this place hell. In that case, running from the hell to the grave was actually going backwards. Oh, that's really fucking good writing. Beato's figure dashing through the corpse-ridden path truly symbolized her resurrection. That's why I said it was good writing.
Milady, take this.
Got it. As she dashed, she snatched something white from Ronove's outstretched hand. There was no longer anyone blocking her path to Erika. However, at that instant, a golden thread came in front of her and rapidly sewed through the red carpet towards her like a sewing machine. Oh, we have a meddler. Reloading complete. Questing data, yeah. Firing radar targeted. Data linked to 410. 410 was clever. She had predicted that Virgilia would go for a spirit particle attack and had folded her ears and 45s over beforehand. So they were the only ones who weren't taken out. Firing. Once again, the golden sewing thread chased after Beato, weaving like a sewing machine. It was as though an undulating golden snake was shooting after her. Impudence! You mean to delay my precious showdown with Erika? Beato jumped sideways away from the red carpet, then dashed across the long table covered with beautiful food. The gold snake chased her, sewing through the pure white tablecloth like a sewing machine and scattering dishes left and right. This is so fucking good. This might be one of my favorite fucking Umineko scenes. The goat attendants ran about wildly, trying to escape. The cathedral was wrapped in pandemonium. Isn't that a good thing if you're in hell? That just means like all the demons are there. This is so fucking good. I'm loving this right now. This is like so fucking good fan service from Beatrice Battler shippers. It's so fucking yummy. I'm so happy. I love this. I can't believe some of those rabbits evaded the spirit particle attack. This is bad. If they take up that position, there's nothing we can do. The pair of snipers, attacking from the chandelier high above, were much further away than Erica was, too far for Beato to reach. Furthermore, their position landed the entire cathedral inside their range of fire. Too bad, yeah, Beatrice Shama. The trials of love are harsh, yeah. 45, no magazine. You mean this? Gap. Yes! Fucking Gap! Show the fuck up! Kick some ass! Gap handed her them. This is some Looney Tunes shit. 45 always handed them over backwards, so 410 was a bit confused to have one handed to her the right way up. Yeah. Let go! No matter how distant a position they might take, it was no problem for the elusive Gap. Gap twisted their long ears up and tickled them with her thumbs. It tickles! The Cheester's greatest weapons was also their greatest weakness. The two doubled over with laughter. I've got these two. But how many seconds do we have left? The other Cheesters will be reactivating. On the other chandeliers, even more powerful Cheesters were slowly starting to move again. It would be impossible to buy any more time. Ah, Gap! Thanks, I'm in your debt. Don't forget to thank these guys, too. Beato, good luck! Hang in there. You don't have much time. Erica! Beato cut through the crowd of scampering goats like Moses. Her goal was straight in front of her, the place where Erica and Battler were seated. Then, a red barrier took form, blocking her path. It was the VIP guarding barrier that Gertrude had set up. She stepped forward and laid out a last line of defense to block Beato's path. Let it be known that you will get no closer. You think a wall like that can stop me?
How long until the Cheesters reactivate?
Within 30 seconds. As the oldest of the seven sisters of Purgatory, Lucifer stood in waiting behind the bride and groom. She wanted to save Beato. If she could just distract Gertrude for a moment, the wall would disappear. However, the seven sisters were furniture. They served the territory lord, so they couldn't move to help Beato. Glanor glanced over at Lucifer. There was a coercive tint to her eyes.
You are not allowed to move except by the orders of your master.
Who's our master? It's Erica now, idiot. No, our master is Battler-sama. True, Erica only speaks on his behalf. That's right, One-sama. Whose furniture are we? It's just too delicious. Let's dig in. The pots and pans. The red, absolute barrier flickered for just an instant. Beelzebub's stake had pierced Gertrude's shoulder, and her concentration had wavered, but it didn't break. Slowly and expressionlessly, Gertrude turned to look at Lucifer. By whose orders? Know that Lady Erica has made no such order. We do have orders. The orders of our master. How can a master who cannot speak give orders? Even though he can't talk. Understanding your master's will is a furniture's job. Then it cannot be helped. 1, 2, 3. The 7 stakes shot at Gertrude at once. Gertrude had chosen to take all of those direct attacks, refusing to abandon the barrier until the last moment. Though she was resilient enough to be called a literal Iron Maiden and received no damage at all. Fuck. Hold up. Stop. It was more than enough to make her flinch and lose control of the barrier. Good work by Furniture. Beato shot through the scattered, red fragments of the barrier, and she was finally right in front of the bride, her rival, Erica. However, there stood the final shield protecting Erica. Yes! Death sentence to Lanor.
You're too late. Time is already up, Lady Beatrice.
Cheester 17, data link to all Cheesters. Incoming data from Archangel Satellite. Homing format, verdict model conceptual guidance. Cheester 20, reactivation complete. Cheester 127, reactivation complete. Yeah. Time's up, yeah. Yeah. No, not there. No! Riche. Good luck. Beato. Flanor! Back off, Flanor A. Knox. This isn't your fight.
I have received a red truth denying you from Lady Burncastle. I'm afraid that this will become your grave.
I don't know what Burncastle has allowed her to say. However, I don't need to sit around and let that longsword tell me. I'll play with you all you want later. But for now, back off. There's no time. The Cheesters have already finished reactivating. I'm the only living on a bit of borrowed time.
You will be the one to retreat. You are a pitiable actor who has chosen the wrong time to make an appearance.
Lanor's red longsword cut a large arc of absolute denial, which headed straight for the crown of Beato's head. However, in that instant, there was a thunk, and the curve missed slightly. Beato didn't let this good fortune go to waste. She slipped past the longsword, knocked Lanor aside, and finally stood right in front of Erica. This time, not a single person stood in her way.
This is popcorn? Where did this come from?
Lambda,
Urgent request from the bride's bodyguard team. Let the Chaster Sisters Imperial Guard fire at the intruder immediately.
the commotion quieted. However, no one shot. Why? They could have shot if they wanted to. All the Cheester troops had completely targeted her and removed their safeties. Of course, all of them had finished reactivating. However, they hesitated to pull the trigger.
Why aren't they shooting? Let the ceremony guards immediately. Wait. Look at that.
Lenore's expression grew grim. What does Beatrice hold? Then she quietly put her red longsword away. After all, Erica would have to make a decision. If she decided to ignore it, they could shoot to kill. However, if Erica picked that up, they must not do so. So they couldn't pull the trigger until Erica decided. Holy fuck, this game is awesome. Why won't anyone shoot? Look closely. See what Beato just threw at Erica? Lambda Delta pointed, still chomping down popcorn. It was hard to see from the balcony. Beato had thrown something like a white handkerchief at Erica. It had fallen to Erica's feet. What was that white thing? She really knows what she's doing, that girl. She knows what it means to be the main character. How interesting. The thing that had hit Erica in the face and fallen to the floor was a white glove that Beato had gotten from Ronove. What? Hitting someone with a glove like that could only mean one thing. It was...
Oh, Zepar. Why did I read myself in Lambda's voice? No fucking clue. What's this? What does it mean? This is a request for a duel. If she picks up the glove, it means she's accepted. And if she doesn't, the Cheesters will shoot? Why would she pick it up? She doesn't have to. However, we and the demon attendants would probably spread the word far and wide that she dishonorably ran away from a duel. She would be known for eternity as a coward who ran away from a duel of love.
This is so fucking good. Beatrice waited firmly and composedly. If Erica just kicked it away, then at that very instant, the Cheesters would probably all fire at once, turning her into golden embroidery. So Erica didn't have to pick it up. However, she could not afford to be afraid of picking it up. After all, she was the true victor, who had defeated Battler's closed room trick and logic. Oh my fucking god, Beatrice is gonna argue for Battler's sake. It's gonna be so fucking good. I fucking love this game. If she was the victor, she should have nothing to fear. So if she was afraid of doing it, it would prove that she still felt a tinge of doubt about her victory. If I don't pick it up, I can kill you without getting these clothes dirty. That would probably liven up your reception. However, you will pick it up. Oh, and why is that? I've brought a wonderful gift, just perfect for you. You want to know what it is. Therefore, you'll pick it up. Not interested. Goodbye. You'll pick it up. I know that you want to hear about the closed room I've brought you, which, unlike that trivial guest room of Battlers, is simple, basic, and absolutely cannot be solved. A closed room that absolutely cannot be solved? I know you want to accept my challenge. After all, you are the detective. Erica threw off her wedding guest as though it were a cape. Yes, before she is a bride or a piece of a witch, she is one thing, first and foremost. I am the detective. I acknowledge you as my opponent. However, are you qualified to participate in this game? Have you managed to fix the logic error? If you pick that glove up, I will prove that I have fixed it in my fight against you. This is so fucking good. Oh. The cathedral was filled with chatter. Erica had picked up the glove. A duel. The cathedral was wrapped in a bizarre excitement.
This is badass as fuck.
At Erica's nod, Glenor pushed the crowd away, leaving the pair alone. People were permitted to witness this duel. However, no one would be allowed to interfere in any way. It's okay, Battler-san. I've already found a way to save you. How? I'm going to save you now. Please hang in there just a little longer. Beato's resolute expression returned. She grinned boldly, looking down on Erica. There can be no doubt that that's the expression worn only by the Golden Witch. I'm so fucking hyped. It's insane. The presence of the master of closed rooms. A shadow dashed through the stormy rose garden. It was incredibly light and swift. Cannon! Cannon was never real, so he can just do this shit. Or because Yoshia is not canon, he can do this. I haven't really worked out all the specifics. The raindrops never touched him. He made no splashes in the countless puddles. His feet left no tracks in the mud. Maybe this is like more canon is never real, was never real shit. That rushing figure was canon. Then he ran up the stairs to the entrance of the mansion. He did not slow down in the slightest to open the door. He ran straight at it as though trying to break through and leapt into it. Though the door was shut, even that couldn't stop Cannon. He slipped through the door, fell into the entranceway, and slowly stood up. His body wasn't even wet. Cannon is not fucking real. And as he recalled those nostalgic days spent serving the Ushiramiya family, which would never come again. Oh my god, this is Cannon's death scene. He ran once more. He was heading for Battler's guest room. He ran past the servant room, through the entrance hall, and past the door to the parlor. Then, the doors to the kitchen and the dining hall came into sight. All of it brings back fond memories. There was the honor and rigidity of serving Kinzo directly. However, that man wasn't rigid all the time. When the family was out of sight, and he didn't have to preserve that air of majesty, his face could turn unbelievably childish, and he would sometimes ask me to take part in strange pranks. The master let me shoot lots of guns, didn't he? That was pretty fun. Kraut-sama was actually surprisingly kind. He must have gotten the impression that the master bullied me a lot. Whenever I was the only one around, he would talk to me in a very familiar way, almost as though he was a classmate of mine. I sort of regret that I held back and never did anything but nod in return. Madam was a really strict person. Ever since some rumor went around saying that she was strict on female servants but soft towards male servants, I get the feeling that she viewed me as an enemy. However, she was also a woman to be pitied. When I've seen her alone, I've noticed her shoulders sag with the pain many times. There were a lot of servants, weren't there? Some lasted a short while, others stayed a long time. Genji-sama was the one person I might have called my father. I am both grateful and resentful towards him over many things. They all mix together, cancel out, and I end up with a neutral emotion. In that case, Kumasawa-san could probably be called my mother. She's helped me out many times. I've always wanted to repay her someday. And now that I've lost that chance for all time, Shannon is my Nason. Without her, I wouldn't have been able to be me. Thanks for teaching me that the ocean is blue. Goda? I hate that guy. Still, when I complimented his stew, he would sometimes turn red and say there was enough for seconds. I didn't dislike that part of him. I wonder why such a strong memory popped up at the instant I ran past the dining hall. And then, my memories of Jessica. Oh, it's a boy servant. How old are you? I think those were the first words she spoke to me. Come to think about it, she was probably interested in me ever since then. I really did have enough time to build up a love that wouldn't lose to George Sama and Shannon's. But since I could only see the gray, I wasted almost all of that time. What does she like about me? What do I like about her? I get the feeling we were never really made that clear. No, she told me. We should have stayed together longer to eventually find that out. It would have been fine to find reasons for our love later. It took me far too long to realize that. Now, I think I can accept it. I know why Shannon wanted you. God must have been watching. You had so much courage, more courage than I did, and God didn't abandon you. I reached the hallway with the guest rooms. There was someone lying on the ground. It was Battler. He was lying just outside the guest room, a chain tied to his neck. He had probably struggled to do something with the chain lock from the outside until he lost consciousness. His fingernails on both hands had been torn off, and they were stained with blood. I could tell at a glance just how hard he had tried until the final moment when his heart had died. The collar binding him wouldn't disappear unless the chain lock was set. Battler-sama, it's alright. I'm going to save you. People are probably really proud of me for realizing that constant canon's the savior motif. I was on that shit. I fucking knew what was going on with Canon. Battler responded faintly. He probably hadn't even imagined that help would come to this eternal closed room. He was so scared that this might be an auditory hallucination brought about by a fleeting delusion that he couldn't bear to open his eyes easily. Canon grabbed Battler by the arms and dragged him into the room. The inside of the room was terrible. The windows had been brutally shattered, and the wind and rain had made its way inside. All kinds of tools and furniture lay broken there. However, Battler hadn't smashed them out of rage. I'll be right back. God damn. Okay, sorry. This is some fucking goddamn good Umineko. Holy shit. Alright, I'm back. The curtain had been removed, torn, and twisted up into a bundle. He had probably used trial and error to see if he could see if that I can't read. Reading is really fucking hard. He had probably used trial and error to see if that could be used as a rope for some trick. He had tried using everything in the room, exploring all possible options of escape. The traces could be seen throughout the room and even in the bathroom. The empty bathtub was stained with just a bit of blood, and the nippers lay there at the bottom. To protect this tale, he had nearly been prepared to accept Berncastle's brutal method of escape, cutting himself into pieces. Okay, that's Battler self-harm. I don't really like that. And washing himself down the drain. He was even willing to tear apart his own body to protect the game that Beato had trusted him with. He had probably questioned himself over and over in this bathtub, wondering if there was any other way out. By the clock of the game world, not even a single day had passed. However, just how many years has it been in the closed room of the logic error? When faced with an endless span of time, any way of ending it, no matter how cruel, is tempting. However, he had rejected that until the very end. And even in the last moment, when his heart died, he had wanted so much to show his iron will to escape from this closed room that he had chosen to fall here, in the corridor, with the chain still around his neck. Battler-sama, it's canon. Please come to your senses. He wiped Battler's face with a towel wetted in the sink. In response to that cold sensation, Battler's heart slowly started beating again. It's you. Cannon-kun. Yes, it's me, Cannon. You did well to endure until today. Looks like I slept in just a little too much. Battler realized that the feel of the towel on his neck meant that the cursed collar and chain were gone. There's no longer anything binding you here. Come on. Please, head back quickly. But if I unset that chain lock, that chain will come back. Don't worry. No longer does any chain exist to bind you, Battler-sama. I will remain here. What if Cannon is like Battler's Genji at the end? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that would be sick as fuck. I will remain here. What did you say? By now, Battler knew the terror of this endless closed room better than anyone else. So, he was more filled with shock than happiness. Shock at the determination of the one who was willing to become the new prisoner. I'll be fine. There's no need to worry. But, Battler-sama, isn't there still something you have to do? I... Go back. Quickly. There is someone fighting in your place. And there is someone awaiting your return. Will you not go back? His stern words and gaze shot straight through Battler. Are you sure? Yes. That will be fine. This way, I can repay my debt from back then. Debt? Do you owe me something? You aren't the one I owe, Sama. It's okay, so go. I don't like being indebted to others. Go quickly. You must not keep her waiting now. So hurry. Jessica is 100,000,000% Beatrice. Battler couldn't argue back anymore. He silently bowed his head, unset the chain, and opened the door. Cannon had remained in the room, so no chain appeared about Battler's neck. He could leave this closed room just by running out. The happy-sounding voices that he had heard at the far end of the corridor had been replaced with an excited chatter. There must have been some sort of strange disturbance going on. As Cannon went out into the corridor to see me off, the merciless collar and chain had already captured their new prisoner. He would remain inside this endless closed room, in Battler's place. Cannon-kun, I feel the same. About what? I don't like keeping debts. I'll definitely repay you, and I'll do it soon. I hope I can count on you. Go on. Run. Run to the one you love. And please never get lost again. Battler didn't turn back. He ran with everything he had. He ran out into the corridor, whose warmth he had cursed so many times. That cursed chain no longer bound him. He ran to the very end of the corridor, beyond the light. Cannon, still connected to the chain, watched him go, then quietly returned to the guest room. Now he only had to worry about his own job. Stay in this room and fix this error of logic. The error in logic. Now I set the chain lock. As soon as he said it, the chain disappeared from his neck. Then, if he hid in the one place Erica hadn't checked, the broken logic would be fixed. Winchester theory? The closet door opened slowly. It was well oiled and opened without a sound. It was cramped inside and dark. This tiny space is the last place I'll see. As long as I remain hidden in here, the logic will be preserved. That's an easy job. Easier than caring for the roses. Cannon went in it and closed the double doors from the inside. I love you, Cannon. As soon as he did, a single small gold butterfly appeared, melted into the darkness of the closet, and vanished. It was a sign that the logic had been fixed. The witch's game had already stopped, and the clock of the world of pieces would never tick again. So for all eternity, no one would come to save him from this place. That's okay. This way, I've paid back my debt. Beatrice. The power of the gold butterfly brooch taught me about love. In the third game, gave me some quiet time alone with Jessica. I get the feeling it did many other small things for me. But at any rate, I've paid back all my debts now. Now, all of my debts are... That music tape Jessica lent me, I never gave it that back, did I? That's okay. Isn't it, Jessica? I liked that one. Can I accept that as a present? You want me to dub it over and hand it back? Slowly, Cannon's body began to melt into a cloud of gold butterflies. And after the inside of the cramped, dark closet glittered like a golden planetarium, It faded away like the light of fireflies, and was painted over by a pitch blackness for all eternity. Damn, rest in peace, Canon. In the cathedral, the goat attendants were all jostling around either side of the red carpet. On the red carpet, standing across from each other, were Beato and Erica. In their hands were the pistols given to them by Zepar and Furfur. Fuck yeah! Flintlocks, are they? How old-fashioned. Pay it no mind. Demons are very particular about style. Its form was similar to an actual old-fashioned gun, but this was, of course, a demon's gun. This is so fucking cool. This wasn't a gun that would propel a lead bullet with an explosion caused by gunpowder. Like the pistols used in the duel between Shannon and Cannon, whose bullets had contained a magic that would always kill. These pistols also had bullets that were not made of lead. Beato, there's no need to worry. She'll win easily, and you'll have to deal with her insults again, Leah. When this match is over, we should ask to be paid every now and then. After the fight ends, perhaps the occasional trip down to the Caribbean would be satisfactory. Enough talk about when the fight is over. That's an ill omen before a duel. Beato, take this seriously. This is no time to be standing around and laughing. Why is Riche relaxed and Leah tense? Come on. Beatrice-sama, you can do it. Beatrice-sama is at a disadvantage in this duel. Why? Yeah, why? Normally, witches are able to use strength and numbers to achieve victory. However, since the game has been suspended, she has nothing on her side except the Riddler of Battler-sama's guest room. If Erica can just strike a blue wedge through that one riddle, it'll mean she solved everything. They can win. They can win. I believe in Beatrice-sama. In Battler-sama. Our two masters. That's so duality coded.
Did you call me?
Thanks. For once. It feels as though our chances of winning are 50-50. So I'd like to thank you beforehand.
It is simply my job. There is no need to thank me.
In the last game, when you protected me after I lost pathetically, I was happy. That was the first time in my life that anyone had ever protected me. Even my master has never done so. All she has given me is a way to cancel out my pain by exposing the truth to others. That everyone ends up hurting each other.
Please forgive my arrogance. I felt that I needed to protect you. When I realized what a frail truth you live by, when I saw you being tormented by the tyranny of a mixture of truth and lies that seemed more plausible, I wanted to protect you.
Thank you. It wasn't for long, but you were a wonderful partner.
And will remain so.
You're right. Once we've defeated her, let's make tons of mysteries on this island together. I'll have you solve them and tease you as we play. How does that sound?
I like it. I look forward to your challenge.
Sorry, that's a lie. I take it back. That'd be one of those loser flags, wouldn't it?
We're bringing that back. It's been like 2 episodes. Shit. Now, are you ready, duelists?
When the two demons clapped their hands, the duelists instantly returned to their bold, tense smiles.
The bullets within those magic guns are not lead. They are bullets of red and blue truth for the battle between mystery and fantasy. As long as you possess truth, your bullets are endless. However, being hit by a single one means instant death. Are you both prepared?
Certainly. Of course.
Lady Lambda Delta, O great and powerful witch of certainty and member of the glorious Senate, please come forward. Will you swear to oversee this duel?
Yeah, probably. Of course. I swear it. The crowd split, and Lambda walked forward with Berncastle by her side. She looked between the faces of the two duelists. Then, she took out an envelope with the seal of the one-winged eagle and lifted it high. Beatrice has sent me her revisions to the tale inside a sealed envelope. After inspecting it, I find its contents to be valid. I proclaim that the logic error has been avoided. The chain lock is set, and without any contradictions with any red truth made up to this point. How? The many goat attendants knew the details of Battler's closed room. They realized how difficult it was. And though fiery debates had swept across the crowd during the reception, none had been able to find an answer. And now it was clear that Beatrice had already reached one. Therefore, this duel is legitimate. It will center around one single point. The closed room of Battler's guest room. Battler disappeared from within a closed room shielded by a chain lock. Therefore, Erica has been armed with the blue truth. Beatrice has been armed with the red truth to counter back. The duel will continue until one side is victorious. Splendid. Perfect. Okay. Well then, Beato, present your new revised tale and riddle to Erica. Cannon used magic to escape from the cousin room without breaking the seals. He reached the guest room and used magic to let Battler escape from that closed room. What a foolish tale. Very well. Erica, is there anything else you wish to confirm? Repeat it. The one who rescued Battler was, without doubt, Cannon. Certain. The one who rescued Battler was, without a doubt, Cannon. Repeat it. Battler and Cannon are different people. I'll say it. Battler and Cannon are different people. That's enough. Erica, are you done confirming things? That was all I needed. I've already decided how to fight.
Okay. Let's let both sides load their bullets.
Erica turned around, pressed her finger against the barrel of the pistol, made her blue truth into a bullet, and pushed it in. There was no rule saying that she had to turn away, but she didn't want her expression to be read. Or it might have been because she couldn't stand the tension of looking at Beato's bold smile. Beato had already finished loading her red truth. She waited for Erica to finish while calmly puffing on her pipe. Then, she looked at Battler, who sat on the throne of the Territory Lord, right next to the two witches who were here as witnesses. Battler's consciousness was still hazy. However, he apparently understood that Beato had come to duel for his sake so that he could be saved. I love this so fucking much. It was all he could do just to look at Beato with those sluggish eyes. But a flood of emotions passed between them. There was no need for words. A look was enough for them now. Erica closed her eyes tightly, her fingers still up against the barrel. At that moment, her stunning powers of concentration made all the distractions of the outside world disappear. Good. It's always been like this, but my concentration really is good. Are you ready, me, Burudo Erica? First, let's lay out the situation. Battler disappeared from that closed room. The chain lock is set. Did he disappear by magic? Of course not. There has to be a trick. Cannon didn't save him with magic. He just came, took Battler's place, and set the chain. Everyone knows that much. The problem is the next step. No, it's actually the step before that one. Cannon was in the cousin room of the guest house. That room was completely sealed with packing tape, and it's been proven that the seal was intact until the time of a logic error. In other words, Cannon escaped from a closed room that was absolute, with no chance for excuses or twisted logic. Good. This is why she called it a simple yet ultimate closed room. How did he escape from the perfect closed room known as the cousin room? If I got stuck thinking only about that question, I'd be no better than your average kid detective. That room is a perfect closed room, so there is no way to escape. In other words, trying to think of ways to escape from there is a waste of time. The real question is how Cannon was somehow outside the cousin room when it was sealed. The cousin room is a completely sealed can. If he was in there when it was sealed, then it's already game over. In other words, at the time the closed room was sealed, he wasn't inside it anymore. Let's look at the time I checked everyone's locations and sealed the rooms. That's the most suspicious part. Ooh, that's right. She never... my assumption is that between the time period of her placing the tape on the door, Cannon could have hypothetically escaped the window without her noticing because she never reactivated the seal. She never opened the door to make sure everyone was still in there after she locked the door. And Cannon could have escaped that way. At that time, we have 5 people in the next room over, whom I confirmed with my own eyes. Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo. I mentioned the names of those 5 people during the location check, and confirmed that they were never in the next room over. Then, I checked to see whether everyone else was in the cousin room. Oh, wait, that kind of fucks my reasoning there, yeah. So how does Cannon not comply with the everyone else red truth? Cannon never real to begin with. I said everyone else. So whether he was Cannon or Yoshia or even Puru Puru Pico Man, they all should have been sealed in the cousin room. It seems perfect at a glance. However, though the phrase everyone else seems perfect, it's fishy. Strictly speaking, everyone else refers to all humans whose names I did not mention directly. In other words, there are exceptions. For example, it's been confirmed that Hideyoshi and George were in the next room over. So humans with the name of Hideyoshi or George don't need to be inside the cousin. It seems that Cannon told Jessica that his real name was Yoshia. That was no red truth. In other words, what if Cannon's real name is the same as one of those in the next room over? They seem to be about the same age, so let's use George. So what if there were two Georges in that room? That doesn't violate the red truth that Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo are in the next room over. Let's say that Cannon's real name was Tanaka George. Both Ushiramiya George and Tanaka George could exist in that room at the same time. In other words, there were 6 humans with 5 names. It looked, to my eyes, as though there were only 5 people in the next room over, but a 6th person, Cannon, was hiding somewhere. I don't have the detectives on board, so would it be difficult for him to fool my eyes and hide? I see, the double name trick. Stupid. So stupid. Alright, I've made my logic. Cannon, who was hiding in the next room over, not the cousin room, left by the window after the seals were placed. Bang! The gun fired, and the tip of my finger was stained with blood. The blue truth of gunpowder had exploded. I gotta put on my chapstick. This dry air is making my lips so fucking chapped. God damn it. Damn it. I've already had Glenor seal that one. Blue truth about the window of the next room over is forbidden. So I can't use it. Oh, an accidental discharge. Careful now. Guns can be dangerous. Beatrice is so fucking bad. Shut up! It's just a little mistake. The window of the next room over. You sealed it with some absurd trick, right? Yeah. Is that so? And so what? Glenor, remove that foolish seal. That seal has become your shackles. Beato has figured out everything I've been thinking. And she's acting so confident, telling me to go ahead and use that argument?
Lady Erika.
Please remove it. Fool. I'll make her regret this.
It seems you are ready, duelists. Please face each other with your pistols. Then fire the sparks of truth.
After facing away and readying herself one last time, Erika spun around. Beato had been facing her since the beginning. She wore a confident, challenging smile, as if she'd been kept waiting. Bro, I was fucking kept waiting. I've been waiting for this shit for fucking like 2 episodes at this point. Then, without any signal, the two slowly raised their guns, pointing the red and blue glints that hid within their barrels at each other. Come, I could do with a little fun. Begin. First is how Cannon escaped from my cousin. I'll use that as my bump. Oh, so you'll start from there. Let's have it. Hold nothing back. Here I go. After holding the gun high and pointing it at Beato once more, Erika pulled the trigger with statements of red and blue truth. The cousin room is guaranteed to be a perfect closed room until the end. So if Cannon really was in this room, it would be impossible for him to escape. In other words, Cannon was not in that room at the time it was sealed. The name Cannon is an alias. His real name is still unknown. If his real name happens to be the same as anyone in the next room over, that wouldn't contradict the check on who was in that room. In other words, it's impossible for him to be the next room over, not the cousin room. The goat attendants chattered and clapped their hands, thinking, yes, such a move would work. I love watching this. I love being surrounded by this chatter. After all, I am the detective. It is true that the next room over was sealed, but at the time of the logic error, only the doors were checked to see whether the seals were preserved. Therefore, there is a chance that the window seals were broken. Cannon was in the next room over and escaped through that window. That is all. Any other theory would be impossible. If this doesn't work, then there's no truth left. As soon as she said, that is all, both of them fired at the same time. After the blast rang out, it was Erica's gun that fell to the floor. Bayato's red bullet had knocked Erica's gun from her hands. Was it arrogance or confidence? If she had just aimed that bullet at Erica's heart, the whole thing would have been over. Beato had missed on purpose. There was a bold smile on her face. It was as though she was offering to play with Erica a little longer. That's my golden witch! That's my Beatrice! Fuck yeah! Keep kicking ass, Beatrice. I love you. No, that's not exactly what made her Beato. That's exactly what made her Beato. Beatrice, the witch who mocks others with unsolvable closed room tricks. At the time the next room over was sealed, Hideyoshi, George, Kumasawa, Shannon, and Nanjo were in. And the number of people in the next room over was 5. No one existed there except for those whom those 5 names refer. All people can only go by their own names. It was a thoroughly merciless red truth. It was simple and severe. Now that the number of people had been limited to 5, any leeway for Cannon hiding there had been completely denied. Also, it was now clear that only people holding those 5 names existed within the room. Erica couldn't even make a new theory by suggesting that one person held 2 names, so that the 5 names referred to only 4 people, which would let an unnamed Cannon sneak in. Furthermore, the part about how people could only use their own names was a fatal blow to cut down countless theories. Come to think of it, you've only ever met the half-sleeping me from the previous game, haven't you? What do you think, Erica? How do you like the game of the Golden Witch? That's insane! Are you saying it slipped out of the room by magic? More importantly, did you just knock my gun away? The human side must crush all of the witch's riddles, whereas the witch side needs only crush the human's theory once. Don't you find that unfair? So, I decided to have it be even. Even? I've decided that I'll make my only victory condition the destruction of all your theories. I've won the riddle of Cannon's escape, but there's one more. Let's return to the first battleground, where you gave Battler so much trouble. When Beato snapped her fingers, that guest room of Battler's was reconstructed. She meant to fight once more in the room that had threatened Battler with a logic error, determined to settle things once and for all. Erica, pick up your gun. We'll have this room be your coffin. I say the same to you. Make you regret ever giving me this chance. This is fucking cool as fuck, Beatrice. God damn, I didn't think you had this in you. Witness. Allow Erica to use X. X? You mean a basis that doesn't need to be explained? What are you gonna let her do? Let's give Erica permission to use blue truths for canon in this guest room trick, without making her explain how he escaped from his closed room. That is such a fucking power move from Beatrice, actually. A theory explaining how Canon saved Battler would also need to explain how Canon escaped from his own closed room, or it would have no basis. Erica had already lost that basis. Beato was giving her a handicap by saying that she didn't need to explain that part. Of course! You've already used the red truth to guarantee that Canon saved Battler. It's only natural that I be given this privilege. Erica faced away again and concentrated even harder. As though twisting the knob on a radio, she turned all noise and idle thoughts down to 0. This is such fucking good Umineko, it's insane. This might be like one of my favorite dialogue scenes ever, actually. It's so fucking good. Let's go, Furudo Erica. Detective Furudo Erica. As long as Canon reaches this place, rescuing Battler isn't hard. The trick is as follows. Canon used some kind of escape trick X to reach the front of the guest room. While I was busy in the bathroom, Battler left the closet. Battler undid the chain lock. Battler went outside. Canon entered in his place. Canon set the chain lock. Canon went into the closet. The end. This satisfies the 2 red truths about the chain lock being set in Battler's absence. What the fuck? And in exchange for this escape trick, Canon remains inside the guest room. There's no room for argument on how tightly this room can act as a closed room. The chain is cursed. In this demonic closed room, one person must remain as a sacrifice for it to be acceptable. However, is such a simple theory really enough? The rescuer switched places with him. Then, the rescuer hid in the closet. No other sort of theory is possible. And yet, Beato thinks she can win. In that case, some other trick exists. It's impossible. I swear, on the history of the mystery genre, there's absolutely, definitely, categorically no other way. But if I give in here, I couldn't call myself a detective. Consider it. Imagine. Don't stop thinking. That's how you drive blue wedges into witches. What I can expect to see is, yes, a wordplay trick. It can only be some kind of wordplay that just barely sips through the net of the words spoken and read. In that case, I'll crush all possibilities. I'll have them repeat line after line. This final duel has already begun, even though we haven't pulled our triggers yet. Repeat it. At the time Battler was rescued, only Canon entered the guest room. I acknowledge it. At the time Battler was rescued, only Canon entered the guest room. I believe that was the whole point. Peter. The time I entered the room, through the logic error, Battler, Canon, and I were the only ones who entered or exited that room. I acknowledge it. From the time you... Wait, this is the first time that... Has acknowledging always been repeated and read? I acknowledge it. From the time you entered the room to the time of the logic error, you, Battler, and Cannon were the only ones who went in or out of the guest room. Repeat it. This refers to 3 people. I acknowledge it. This refers to 3 people. You, Battler, and Cannon. Confirming definition. Can I assume that when you say 3 people, that's equal to the number of bodies? You're saying that 3 bodies went in or out of the room, right? I've had enough of things being mixed about names and the number of people. I want this point to be clear. Of course, 3 people, in other words, 3 bodies, went in or out. Only you and Cannon entered and only Battler left. It has already been said in red that people can only use their own names. Wait, I really don't like that. That kind of really fucks my Jessica's Beatrice theory a little bit, but okay. Unless Jessica's birth name is Beatrice. Therefore, the names Erica, Battler, and Cannon can only be used by those people. Repeat it. I'm not the rescuer. Of course. You are the detective, are you not? Don't worry, I will respect you. Confirming definition. How do you define rescuer? This is also important. I want to quickly remove the possibility that I rescued him accidentally. I'll define rescuer to mean any person who reset the chain lock after Battler unset it. This definition applies whether said person intended to rescue Battler or not. Since she said after Battler unset the chain lock, it's impossible for this to have occurred before I set foot in the room. From that point on, I wouldn't undo the chain again for all eternity. After all, the game was suspended at that point. Therefore, it was impossible for me to have been the rescuer accidentally. More, I can focus it even more. The chain would only be set from the inside. It's impossible for a person to escape on their own. Therefore, we know that Battler didn't escape by himself. I'm not the rescuer. Only Cannon can be the rescuer, and Beato has already said that Cannon is the rescuer of the Red Truth. There's no doubt. There's no room for anyone but Cannon to be involved. At least so far. Repeat it. Going in or out refers to when someone crosses the boundary between the guest room and the area outside it. I acknowledge it. Repeat it. By the guest room, we're referring to the entirety of the bedroom, the bathroom, and the closet. I acknowledge it. I have no intention of wriggling out of this by saying the closet isn't a part of the guest room. Confirming definition. The inside of the guest room is divided into 3 sections: the bedroom, the bathroom, and the closet. I also recognize it as such. Furthermore, you have already confirmed with the Red Truth that the 2 of those sections, the bedroom and the bathroom, had no one hiding in them. Repeat it. There's someone in the closet. I refuse. Why is that? Because Cannon's hiding in there? Cannon can use magic. It's true that he hid himself in the closet for a time, but he then immediately vanished with his magic. So there is no one else. There is no one in the closet. Cannot respond. I ask you to repeat it once more. Ooh. The witch side has no obligation to explain how they did things with magic. I'm so glad to watch fucking Erica getting her ass fucking whooped by Beato. She's had it so fucking easy for so long, taking easy W's from fucking Lambda, from Burn, from Battler, but now she's in the fucking big leagues, and she's getting her ass abso-fucking-lutely handed to her. No, it's completely obvious. There's no such way she can say that Cannon disappeared with magic using the Red Truth. After all, magic doesn't exist. But is this enough? I've gone through every last minor detail, and yet there's an uncanny lack of dubious points. I can't think of any way around the theory I've had since the beginning. Cannon must be in the closet. He has to be. There's no way he isn't. I'll say it again. This closed room can only be escaped from by switching places with a rescuer. If Cannon tried to escape as well, another rescuer would be needed. Except, however, no rescuer exists for Cannon. Battler escape was impossible for it to be him. I won't undo the chain for all eternity. The people who've gone in and out of the room have been confirmed by both name and the number of people. At this rate, my theory is set in stone. First, here are the details of the situation that are certain. The game ended while I was inside the guest room. This music is so fucking good, goddamn. So I did not undo the chain lock that I had previously set. So it can't be that he escaped after I left the room. Furthermore, the chain lock was set the same time I entered the room. No one could have left the room during the few seconds between the time I entered and the time I set the chain lock. The guest room was sealed at the time Battler's corpse was examined. So until I came again and broke the seals, it was absolutely impossible for anyone to go in or out. Therefore, when I entered the room, it is certain that Battler was hiding somewhere inside the guest room. This is the longest fucking red truth ever. God damn. The only chance Battler had to escape was after I broke the seals. Whatever. I love that. To be even more specific, he had no chance to escape except for the time I was in the bathroom. By the above premises, Battler's trick to escape with the chain lock still set is as follows. Because of the aforementioned reasons, the only one who could have set the chain lock, which can only be set from the inside and allowed Battler's escape, is Cannon, the only person to enter the room except for me and Battler. After Cannon entered the room, he set the chain, hid it in the one place that he could hide inside the guest room, the closet. Whoa, that was close. They almost got me. They almost tricked me. Though I thought I'd cornered him in the closet. It's the opposite. They're trying to make me think he's in the closet. What was the order in which I searched the guest room? First, the bedroom. We confirmed with the red that there was nothing there. Then the bathroom. We confirmed with the red that there was nothing there. That's it, right there. When I examined the bedroom, there was nothing there. However, while I was investigating the bathroom, Cannon slipped out of the closet and hid again somewhere in the bedroom. In other words, my guarantee that no one was in the bedroom was torn apart during a span of 1 minute. I've spotted it. This is the witch's trap, an attempt to lure me into thinking that Cannon's in the closet. Cannon's gay. The place he's really hiding is the bedroom. I found it. I finally found your trick. like, damn, bitch, you actually suck ass at this. That was a close one. If I'd been one step slower, I'd have said that there was nowhere to hide except inside the closet. And then she'd just say that the closet was empty. Huh? No, wait. It works the same in reverse. I see. Now I get it. It's a logic switching trick. Damn it, Beato. So in resolving the logic errors, she's discovered this strange trick. If I only notice the closet, she'll have Cannon hide under the bed. And if I only notice the bed, she'll have Cannon hide in the closet. Schrodinger's Cannon. Even though either one would be right, I'd lose no matter which I chose. Unless I expose both at the same time, I can't checkmate her. Incredible. I've never heard of such an unfair trick. If it was a sleight of hand, it'd just be a cheap one. If it was a mystery, it'd just be cheating. However, in this witch's game, it's legitimate. It's a legitimate logic trick. In chess, it'd be called a double check. No, a discovered attack. Or wait, would it be a discovered double checkmate? So Beato has checkmate twice over? Even though this sort of logic would be a foul trick in the mystery genre, in this world where witches and mystery war, it is such a refined board layout. The beautiful placement of the black pieces that cornered my white king felt almost like an art. So beautiful that, if I were a god in some old legend, I might wish to stick it in the sky as a constellation. That beauty even brought tears to my eyes. For the first time, I felt honored at being allowed to participate in this game of truth and witches as a human. And ironically, it taught me that the only one who had believed in such a single truth, that there isn't necessarily just one truth. If I just broaden my perspective, I can see completely different truths. And though each of those truths are truth, they're incomplete if they're all you can see. In my life until now, just how many truths have I missed because I was blinded by some trivial truth? This is the true nature of the world. We're getting very into the nature of truth, which is a very reoccurring theme in Umineko. Because of our arrogance in thinking that only one truth exists, whenever we find one truth, we get blinded to all the others. Thank you, Beatrice-san. I never thought that I would learn the true nature of this world from a witch. Slowly, with a soft and quiet gesture, like a flower opening with the morning dew dripping down its side, Erika raised her gun. Is she gonna fire into the air? It's my victory. I've seen through your double check. No, she thinks she's win? Then come. Battler's guest room disappearance trick is as follows. Hold up, I have to go get some more beer. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry, I'm back. I thought this dialogue scene would be... I thought I could finish all of episode 6 tonight. That's not fucking happening. Battler's guest room disappearance trick is as follows. While I searched the room, Battler was hiding in the closet. Then, during the disturbance in the bathroom, he unset the chain and escaped from the room. At that time, Cannon was waiting for him in the hallway. Cannon entered the guest room in his place and set the chain. This is the trick to Battler's disappearance. And afterwards, he hid in the bedroom. This happened after I checked to see that there was no one unexpected in the bedroom, so it's valid. Except she doesn't have detective's authority, so her searches aren't always valid this episode. And this is what keeps Winchester theory alive, actually. The worst theory. In this way, Cannon the rescuer concealed himself in the bedroom. Erica's blue bullet flew in a strange arc, became a wedge of the blue truth, and pierced straight down through the bed and the floor beneath. Beato didn't pull the trigger. However, she did quietly argue back with the red truth. Cannon does not exist in the bedroom. Oh, the goat attendants gasped. Erica had apparently been defeated, denied by the red truth. For the goats, who couldn't see more than a single truth, it probably looks as though I've lost. Next up is the real one. This is the answer from a human capable of understanding multiple truths. It looks like the tale of illusions will end on the second twilight. So, why don't I carry out the remaining twilights and open the door to the golden land? If you are to disappear, then it should be surrounded by your golden roses. I thought there would be blue text here, damn. The fires of the blue truth flashed at Erica's feet, and she loaded a blue truth bullet once more. That overflowing blue power was now making her entire gun burn with a blue flame. She wasn't aiming for Beato. She was aiming behind Beato, at the closet. Now that the bedroom has been denied, you've nowhere left to run. Die, Cannon! Cannon does not exist in the closet. The 5 wedges of blue truth she released shot right past Beato's cheeks, hair, and shoulders. Then pincushioned the door to the closet to gouge whatever human was inside to death. The 5 wedges slammed into the door in a vertical line. In other words, one on the 4th twilight gouged the head and kill. 5th gouged the chest. 6th on the 7th. On the 8th gouge and kill and kill and kill. After being gouged by so many thick and sharp wedges, the human inside wouldn't stand a chance. Ellipses. Here's the truth I've exposed. That is all. When she proclaimed that she had finished, the 5 blue wedges piercing the closet disappeared. However, the many large splintered holes left behind showed that it had indeed been pierced. God damn. Is this shit gonna end? I would have finished this episode tonight. This shit is tricky. Then, as though this completed the ceremony that led to the Golden Land, whoops, the room that had been created around them became countless golden flower petals and drifted away. By now, the duelists and the crowd of attendants were surrounded by the golden rose garden of the Golden Land. However, the closet behind Beato remained. It stood there all by itself like a coffin, or a cat box, if you will. Then, as though teased open by a dreary wind, the hole-covered closet slowly opened. Inside was a human figure. That figure was covered up to the head by what appeared to be a grayish robe. Of course, that also had large enough holes showing that it had been stabbed into. Eventually, it became clear that this was not a robe, but a raincoat. If he had rushed here from the guest house, then there would be nothing strange about him wearing this into the guest room. Then, with a rustle, the raincoat lost its human shape, crumpled, and became a cloud of gold butterflies and disappeared. Inside the coffin of the closet, nothing remained except an empty darkness. Canon does not exist in the guest room. Of course, it includes all parts of the closet, the bedroom, and the bathroom. Canon let Battler escape and hid in the closet. Then, he used magic to disappear. This is the witch's truth. That is all.
This fight is over. Say no more. And the winner is Beatrice.
Oh. The attendants let out a cheer. Virgilia's group couldn't help but scream and shout in joy. This would be such a good anime moment, actually. The seven sisters jumped about in celebration. Then, at the same moment the two demons proclaimed Beatrice's victory, the head's ring worn by Erica was slowly crumpling to the ground, and the cursed ring on Battler's finger both burst. At the same time, Battler coughed violently. Battler was starting to regain consciousness. Battler! Battler-san! Beato latched onto the coughing Battler in joy. Then, Virgilia, Gap, and Ronove did the same. All the seven sisters did something, also crowded about him in delight. What a nasty trick. Are you sure something like this will count? With a trick like this one, those humans will start complaining again about how this is no mystery. No, it was a splendid trick. People without love cannot see it. Battler-san. Battler-san. Oh, gosh.
Lady Erica. Lady Erica. Someone help her. Quickly.
The rose of blood in Erica's chest wouldn't stop opening its petals. Third-degree conceptual denial syndrome. Use of continuous neutralizer impossible. Neutralization only possible by an emergency approval for resurrection. A piece's master must provide approval for resurrection.
Lady Bonecastle, give your approval for her resurrection.
But Berncastle's gonna be like, nah, I don't want to.
Lady Bonecastle, where did she go?
Search her quest to ceremony guards. Find Lady Berncastle. Understood. All cheesters, data link. Search format.
Cowardly. To think someone's master wouldn't watch her piece of food to the end. Know that it is far too cowardly.
Erica, who was being held by Dlanor, had already realized that her master was nowhere to be seen, but she didn't feel lonely. On the contrary, she was relieved that she wouldn't need to be brutally scolded in the last moments of her life. Fuck yeah, die! Die, Erica, I hate you, and you should die.
Gods and demons, please pass on the story of her noble passing.
Noble? The bad guy is supposed to die pathetically and make the main character look awesome. I'm not anyone's piece anymore. I can finally control my own role.
Lady Erica, you mustn't move.
Stand back. Stay back! When Erica yelled with all her soul, those who surrounded her were forced back and fell on their butts. I am the Witch of Truth, Furudo Erica. The Witch of Truth is the witch who can withstand the truth. Now, I can finally accept the real truth about myself. The toxin of her own concept being denied raced through her. Her vision was already starting to blur. At the other end of her twisted range of vision were Battler and Beato, hugging each other and looking at her. Yes, fuck yes, I ship them. Forever. Their expressions are firm. That's okay. Pity and sympathy would only make me look more pathetic. For a loser, that sort of expression is the best.
Lady Erica, the duel is already over. It isn't. Not until the pair is separated by death. We won't let anyone disgrace her final moments.
The two demons grabbed Lanor's shoulders and held her back, dripping blood, breathing heavily. And with an awkward gait, Erica walked towards Beato and Battler despite it all. As the blood dripped from her, it became golden flower petals, which drifted away. So, as she walked, she looked both divine and beautiful. The duel wouldn't end until one of them died. So, even though it had been settled, it hadn't ended. Beato and Battler told the people bunched around them to step back, and they both walked forward to face the noble loser. Erica, congratulations on your resurrection. Looks like you've had bad luck with women. You'll never get a decent one like you. True. And I'd never fall in love with a decent woman. Beato. No, I ask this of both of you. You wish for one final clash? Erica. Very well. We are not so boorish as to refuse your noble request. Thank you. As her consciousness began to waver, Erica raised her gun again. She pointed it at the two of them. Beato also raised her gun to point at Erica. Yes! 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 We love this. Why is this in Japanese? Okay, whatever. He's helping her hold the gun. If it's already resolved, what more could there be to argue about? And I feel like in Erica's death knell, she's gonna say something that will kickstart the need for episode 7.
Erica-sama, why is there nothing I can do at a time like this?
Watch until the end. That's your job as her friend, isn't it? Both sides silently loaded their bullets of truth without saying a word. The color packed into each barrel was red. So, Though neither side spoke, they did. Did they both know what trump card the other would use? Now, at the end, I'd like to finally introduce myself. What's she saying? This late into the game? No one could imagine the Red Truth Erica had loaded. Beato? Are you sure? Yes. I don't mind. I understand. Let's at least pull the final trigger together. I know. Battler placed his hand on top of the finger that Beato had around the trigger. Battler-san, I'm glad I met you. We will be together for all eternity. I ship these two so fucking hard, god damn it. You just had to flirt right in front of me. It's pissing me off. You know, I really can't stand teary farewell scenes. Yes, the bad guy really does need to wear this face at the very end. That's a nice look. Married life with you would probably have been fun enough to make me vomit. Of course, I'd spin you around every day, locked up in a world of pleasure that'd make you forget about Beato-san in a second. It's 1,000 years too early for you to capture Battler's heart, little girl. You've never looked cuter than you do now. I guess both of us really do need to finish it this way. Come. This is Detective Furudo Erica's final parting line. And self-introduction. Erica spun in a magnificent and graceful rondo, scattering blood and golden flower petals around her as she raised her gun. Hi, pleased to meet you. I'm Furudo Erica, the detective. I may be an uninvited guest, but please, welcome me. I'm the visitor, the 18th human on Rokkenjima. Sorry, but even if you do join us, that makes 17 humans. What? What? So maybe canon was never real. What's it gonna say with cannons on this thing? This is maybe one of my favorite fucking Umineko dialogue scenes. This was so fucking good. Died on the second Twilight. Wow. Canon died. Wow, what a fucking ending. That was so good. Two episodes left, though. It's gonna be so good. I think it's gonna take me probably till the end of January, maybe early February. So there's still plenty of Umineko left. Plus, I'm not even gonna do either of the tea parties tonight. I'm gonna save them for my next stream. So my next stream will either be the two tea parties and episode 7, or just the two tea parties, depending on how long it really is gonna be. Dawn of the Golden Witch. That was definitely the Dawn of the Golden Witch. But I feel more and more convinced in my theory that Jessica is Beatrice after that. I don't think I still have all the specifics out. And I've said that before. But I definitely think going into episode 7 that my theory is going to keep being proven correct. Oh, there still might be more. I haven't even thought about this. No, we're good. Okay, thank God. I wanted to stop. I'm like, okay. Let's look at our tips before we end the episode. Oh wait, I don't have them yet. I'm not gonna have them until the end of the tea party. Okay. Well, I will see you guys whenever. It's really fucking tricky because it's, well, about to be Christmas. Maybe Sunday, maybe probably Monday. We'll see. It's really confusing. This is a very goofy part of the year. But I imagine I'll be back at least one more time before the year's up. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year, all that. You know, I will see you guys whenever. I don't stream with like a schedule or anything. I'm just here when I'm here. I'm too busy elsewise. But wow, what a fucking scene. I love that so much. I'll see you guys later. Peace. Oh, wait. You guys should definitely subscribe to me on Twitch. Follow me on YouTube. Yep, all that. Bye.